has happened in the past few months. I know I haven't been able to post as much as I said I would, but I've been really struggling. Last month, beginning of March, I got a very bad attack, an obstructive attack, and I tried to get it resolved at home, but after a week it still hadn't resolved, and I was in a lot of pain. I wasn't tolerating my feeds, and I was vomiting a lot. I am in so much pain right now. I have been like this for 2 days now. Venting isn't really helping. I try to vent. It goes down, but then within an hour it builds up again. And when my abdomen is like this, my tube hurts so badly. I haven't had feeds in about 48 hours now. I really don't want to go to the hospital because hospitals are full of COVID patients, but I'm in so much pain. Like, I can't even work right now. I've pretty much. So I called my doctor, who then asked me to come into the hospital. I came to the hospital, and he tried to. No, I came to the hospital and I had an x-ray which showed that my stomach was very dilated, and it also had air fluid levels, and the same with my small intestine. It also had dilated loops and air fluid levels. But the radiologist actually thought I might be having a gastric outlet obstruction, but we suspected that that likely wasn't the case. It was probably a pseudo obstruction that was most likely. So he got me to drink bowel prep, because that's usually what he does to try and wake up my intestines. I took the bowel prep, except it never worked. I didn't go to the bathroom once, and after a few hours later, so I had taken the prep in the morning, and at around 8:30, I actually vomited the whole thing. So it had just been sitting in my stomach. And then I first had an endoscopy to see if anything was obstructing my stomach. When that came back clear, then I had to go and do the contrast. Small bowel follow through, where you drink contrast and then they try to see if there's anything that's blocking your GI tract. So I went and they injected gastrografin. Yeah, they injected gastrografin through my peg tube. Yeah, so when they were injecting the contrast, it was clear that something was very wrong, because instead of my stomach emptying, it just got larger and larger and larger. It was just dilating, like, really badly. At the 4-hour mark, I still had more than half of the contrast in my stomach. Usually that test is supposed to take 4 hours. So normally at 4 hours, the contrast is supposed to have reached the colon, but I still had contrast in my stomach. 7 hours later, I still had contrast in my stomach. I actually ended up having to finish the test the next day. So that made it very clear that things are far worse than they have been in a while. So from there, it was decided that a tube which would allow access to my small bowel would probably be better for feeding, because anything that was going through my stomach, even water, wasn't emptying and it was making me vomit. So he ordered a GJ tube, and then that replaced my PEG tube. And then I needed to also drain my stomach 24 hours every day to decompress it, and also to stop the vomiting. Yeah, being able to drain the stomach, it did give a lot of relief in terms of the vomiting. I still get the nausea quite badly, but it's not as bad as when there's all that stuff building in my stomach. So this is what I drain out of my stomach all day. A lot of green bile. Draining it gives a lot of relief. My stomach is always so full of air, so I drain so much of the air as well. So yeah, I got the GJ tube, and I was able to start the feeds. Started them at 15 milliliters per hour, and the goal was to get up to 35 milliliters per hour, which I was able to do. Um, yeah, after I reached the goal, then I was able to go home. Oh, sorry, I'm so nauseous. Yeah, so that hospitalization, it was really rough. I was in hospital for 20 days. And it was very frustrating, because I felt like the whole time my doctor wasn't quite clear on what the plan was, and he was just second guessing everything that he was doing, and I was getting so frustrated, because like when you are a patient and you don't know where you stand, it gets really frustrating, because if somebody tells you that this is what the plan, you expect for that to be a plan. And then if your doctor then keeps flip-flopping, and then you end up not knowing what to do, because I was just lying here in bed without any nutrition, literally losing weight while in hospital. I was just, there were so many days where I felt like I was just completely going to lose it. My mental health was just so poor at the time. It was completely down the drain. I remember having a panic attack. It took a while for the JJ tube to be delivered, and that whole time I was without any nutrition, so it was really hard. Hi guys. Um, this is day 11 in hospital. I had a very bad attack. Um, Almost, I think, 3 weeks ago. I tried everything I could to resolve it at home, but I couldn't. And then I had to get admitted. Um, yeah, I was in a lot of pain, and even draining my peg tube wasn't helping. So, yeah, I came in. My x-rays, they had said that there was a possible obstruction of the gastric outlet. So my doctor decided to do a scope to see if there really was a blockage, and of course there was none. So then he ordered a small bowel follow through, which I did, and pretty much when they injected the contrast through my peg tube, my stomach just dilated, got bigger and bigger and bigger. At 4 hours, I still had most of the contrast in my stomach, And at around 7 hours, I still had quite a lot of contrast stuck in my stomach and the rest moving very slowly through my intestines. A test which is supposed to take 4 hours ended up taking 2 days to complete. So when my doctor saw the results, it pretty much confirmed the worst possible thing, which is my CIPO has progressed into my stomach and it's severely affecting my stomach. And my small intestines have also gotten much worse than they were. So my peg tube, because I initially had a peg tube and that's how I was feeding, but it no longer makes sense to feed me into my stomach because it's hardly emptying. So now I am going to get a GJ tube and I will be fed into the small intestine. But also because my stomach isn't emptying, I have to constantly drain my stomach to remove bile secretions or anything I might have drank or tried to eat. So yeah, I'm now just waiting for my doctor to tell me when I'm going in to have my tube placed, and then I will come back and I will tell you guys how that experience was, and I will show you me getting acquainted with the tube and starting to use the tube, and I will just try to document everything. I wish I had documented each day I was in hospital, but I was just in too much pain. I didn't really feel like doing any videos. So yes, hopefully I'll be able to upload this as soon as I'm out of the hospital. All right. The first few days after I got my tube, they were quite tough because my intestines, they don't really like anything to be done to them. So anytime my GI tract has been messed around with, I always develop an ileus, which really hurts. But after that, things seem to settle down. I was quite happy with my tube. I was draining 24 hours, which helped control the nausea. And I also started my feeds very slowly and was able to slowly move up to my goal. And then I was ready to go home. It was quite an adjustment, getting used to walking around with the bag. But I made it work. I was happy to go home, and I was optimistic that things were gonna work out. I'm gonna have to stop this one here, and I will try to get a part 2 up in a week or so. Hopefully I'll be able to do that. Thank you so much for your support. Please like, subscribe, and love you so much. Bye.